Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is a game series that transcends almost the entirety of PlayStation. It's been around for years. The latest entry is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, released for the PS5, only on the PS5. It's coming to PC soon, but it's 2 years later. Guys, this game is awesome. It is more of the same in all the right ways. Let's dive into it. This is Thrifty with Thrifty PS Gamer Reviews. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on the bell notifications. You can get my videos, catch up with my live streams. Leave a comment down here with what you're playing, and let's dive in. Ratchet and Clank is part of a subservice now. It is part of PlayStation Extra. You can still purchase it. Actually, it's on sale right now for $29.99. And we're going to talk about it in relation to the value of the subservice and the value of $29.99. So, the game is very, very much fan service, but also very, very much a beautiful entry point into the Ratchet and Clank universe. I really hope they give us a sequel. We have heard nothing about it, but I'm hoping that they continue this story. The story starts off with Ratchet, and you are trying to find other Lombaxes because you're lonely, right? You don't have that sense of belonging. You're one of a kind in a world where nobody looks like you. And so already they're dealing with a really heavy undertone in this, something that kids can relate with, and something that, if we're all honest, adults can relate with as well. Sometimes you just don't feel like there's anybody else who kind of meshes with you. And so through that, you get the Dimensionator, and then Dr. Nefarious comes and he takes the Dimensionator, and now you're on this wild goose chase through the entirety of the game almost to get the Dimensionator back so you can prevent Dr. Nefarious from destroying the entire universe, all of them. The game introduces a new character in Rivet and also introduces a new robot companion in the form of Kit. Both characters are extremely well done with backstories and with beautiful dialogue to match. And so when we get into this game, first thing I want to talk about after all of that is the graphics and just the way the whole game runs. I play this on a Hisense with VRR, 120 frames or 120 hertz enabled. So I'm playing in fidelity with 40 frames per second. I will be honest with you, it looks and plays wonderfully. There is a caveat though, because the color palette and the presentation of it in just basic fidelity mode without the 120 hertz looks a little crisper than the 120 VRR fidelity mode. Don't know why that is.
I would not advise that.
And so just kind of keep that in mind as we go through. That is not a knock on the game in any way. Either mode you play in, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous experience. And I'm going to say it's an experience because one of the things graphically and performance-wise they're able to do, there's no save point. There's no loading screen. There's no auto changing the little icon pops up. At least that I saw. And I haven't been 20 hours into this thing, so I feel like I would have played it. Especially since for the last like 4 or 5 days I actually been looking at it. The game doesn't ever break the immersion of the world it's created with arbitrary things like loading screens or little icons that pop in on the screen. I never quite realized how invasive those things are until playing Ratchet.
It appears some dimensional distortion is emanating from that cave.
Like, you select the world you want to go to and fly through, you see the ship fly down into the world, and you're there. Done. You hop out, you're there. There's no delay, there's no nothing. So, excuse me, performance-wise and graphic-wise, this game is top-notch. Let's talk about ray tracing though. in this graphics section, let's go ahead and get into ray tracing, because the ray tracing is some of the best I've seen in the video game.
And
It's
still runs into that rift.
one-to-one ray tracing in things like
Alright,
body armor,
smarty bot.
the
What is
helmets
this
that have
place?
the visors on it. It's
A
nuts.
dimensional
Blow things up and
pocket?
see it illuminate
Perhaps
different
a
parts of
symptom of the
background, and
Dimensionator's
when
destruction.
things are flying and
How do you
everything
come
is
up
going
with
on
this
around
stuff?
you. Everything. And you'll catch like a ship will blow up in the sky and it'll kind of light up a little bit where you're at. It's just nuts the amount of ray tracing elements they were able to put into this game, and also with no loading times and no save states. I couldn't believe it as I was playing it. I did not pick this game up at launch because, well, I'm thrifty, and so I'd already saved my 3 new game purchases for the year. But now that it's on PlayStation Extra, oh boy, I downloaded that thing as soon as it dropped. Let's get into gameplay. Gameplay is where I get the whole it's more of the same. Because it is. Anybody who's played a Ratchet and Clank is going to feel at home with the controller. The strafing, the jumping, the shooting, the different weapons you can purchase, all of that is wonderfully done in this game. It's like they said, hey, instead of creating brand new combat system, we're just going to perfect the old one. And that's what they did. And the only time it ever really felt repetitive is when I was searching a world for the collectibles, because the collectibles are part of the gameplay loop. And you get into combat several times, and it starts to feel like, man, I've played a lot of this before, because I've played every single Ratchet and Clank game there is for the PlayStation consoles. And so it did feel like more of the same, but it felt more of the same perfected. And I hope that makes sense in what I mean there. The other part about the gameplay is all of the traversal mechanics. All of the boots, the hoverboards, the beetle, the dragon. Like, there's so many different traversing mechanics that I really want them to make as like a separate DLC or game or something that's like Ratchet and Clank Olympic Games or something. And it's just all of those games that you can hop into anytime you want and play them. And like you could level up your equipment. I don't know. I'm not a developer, but that sounds wonderful to me. There's platforming sections in this that harken back to the old school days where you would be playing Spyro, or you would be playing Crash, or something like that. Like, it's so well done, but it's not too old or too unrefined to where fans of the series are going to have a problem with it. And it's good enough to where newcomers to the series are going to have a wonderful time. The collectibles that play a part in the gameplay loop are awesome. You actually get rewards for getting collectibles, which is amazing, because it adds an extra layer of why do you want to go do these, right? The Merlin trials in Hogwarts Legacy, I've never finished those because I don't have to. I don't really get anything extra outside of a trophy saying that I collected them, so I'm not going after them. This, they all give you something, whether it's a lore dump, or it's armor pieces that give you bonuses and boosts to your stats, or it's something like the gold bolts that give you fun little things to do, like the old school cheats that we used to have on games where, oh, you can make your character have a big head, or, oh, when you kill them, confetti shoots out, or, hey, there's one called Home Run that when you destroy an enemy on a melee attack, it home runs them out of there. They get yeeted up off the screen. And so it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. There's a level up system in here for your weapons that you have to get raritanium and level up your weapons. There's another one that if you get enough Zircon bots, or not Zircon bots, just little mini robots, if you collect all of them, you get the big massive weapon. And, they've done stuff like that before in other games too with the card systems, but like so well done. let's get into sound and voice work, because I think the score and the game, the score and the voices go super well together. So it is kind of a heavier thematic story than what we've seen sometimes before. Like, Ratchet is dealing with the sense of loneliness, Rivet's dealing with the sense of kind of forgiveness and making the best of life, and Kit, the new robot, is dealing with the sense of shame and guilt. And Clank is like the most centered one of them all, but he's still kind of dealing with the sense of, hey, what's going to happen to me if Ratchet finds all the other Lombaxes? And so there's some heavy stuff in here, and it's balanced out really well with the campiness and the over-the-topness of Pierre the Pirate and Dr. Nefarious. And I know that's not Dr. Nefarious's voice or Pierre's voice, but just bear with me and go with it here. Like, it works so good. The emotion, the presentation, the music, the ambient noise, the gunplay, the firing sounds, the little quips in the background when you're just playing the game. It's so well done that the sound and the vocals come through perfectly. And kind of to touch on graphics a bit again, the animations of the players as they're talking or as they're dealing with something more heavy, like, you can see it on their faces. The facial expressions
hi.
are so,
You must
so
be
good.
Glitch.
And
I'm
so
Ratchet.
that's kind of my...
Sorry for all the jostling around earlier. Things aren't exactly going well, and
wonderful.
actually,
Let's get into my overall.
I think you're the only one who can help me right now.
Review of this game. Ratchet and Clank is a game that does nothing really new, but everything to perfection. Where they did their new stuff is mainly in the graphical
Seems
leap
like a nice guy.
from previous generation
I
to current
probably
generation
just have to delete some
hardware
files,
and
then
graphic
he'll be
fidelity.
all set.
The game itself is a steal at $30, and it is a massive win to get it as part of PlayStation Extra. Outside of that, I think newcomers and fans of the series will be completely satisfied playing this game. I recommend you to pick it up. It's at a good price
Can
point,
try to take
and
out
it's
the
also
rest
included
now.
in PlayStation Extra. Guys, leave a like, leave a comment on this video. Thank you for stopping by. This has been Thrifty with Thrifty PS Gamer Reviews.
Huh.
Check out my channel.
What's with the capsule?
Really appreciate it.
Did
And
a
as
virus
always,
make that?
stay thrifty.